What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another video today, and in this video we continue on our journey through the 1990s with the Retro FSD project. Our next stop is 1991, and once again we'll have another model making their official Retro FSD debut. This one I've been excited about for a while. Let's get started. While we await the arrival of an American Airlines Fokker 100, the 1992 update I've planned out is on an indefinite hold. To keep things moving with the Retro FSD project, I felt it was appropriate to skip 1992 for the time being, until I am able to acquire the American F100. I don't know how much longer this will take me, but considering how rare and valuable this model is, it will most likely be a while, unless Gemini Jets pulls a rabbit out of their hat and re-releases it. Back to 1991, the many airline mergers of the 1980s drastically changed the airline landscape in Sioux Falls, which we'll hit on in a future video, and the effects can still be seen here. Despite the mergers, there's still a good handful of airlines here. In 1991, AirVantage, Delta, Northwest, TWA, United, and US Air Express all serve Sioux Falls. Let's talk about AirVantage since they're the most unique out of this bunch. AirVantage was an airline that operated during the 1980s and 90s. Based out of St. Paul's downtown airport, they would last up until 1997. They operated a fleet of at least swearing-in Metroliners. Now, I wasn't able to acquire a Metroliner in time for this update, so the service will not be featured here. As I kept on reading about AirVantage, it has turned into another one of those airlines where minimal information exists online. All I have are just a handful of references with little information between them. In 1991, AirVantage operated weekday flights out of Sioux Falls to Aberdeen, South Dakota, Minneapolis, and daily flights to Rapid City. Other airlines remain, such as Delta to Bismarck, North Dakota, and Rapid City, Northwest and Northwest Airlink operated by Mesaba to Minneapolis, TWA to the Quad Cities in Iowa and Illinois, St. Louis, and Sioux City, Iowa, United to Chicago and Denver, Fargo, North Dakota, and Rapid City, and US Air Express operated by Air Midwest to Sioux City, Iowa. This is quite the loaded route map, and to this day I'm still amazed we had flights to Fargo and Bismarck at this time. Let's get to the update. Welcome to the Sioux Falls Regional Airport. It's October 1st, 1991. We have ourselves a new model that I'm eager to look at first, so let's get right into it. At Gate 1 rests this wonderful Delta Boeing 737-200. Delta kept the route that Western would last operate out of Sioux Falls, in this case it was direct to Rapid City, but in the summer of 1988 they added Sioux Falls to Bismarck. This Bismarck service was once daily, and having arrived at 11:57 p.m. local time as Flight 1886, it's the last air service of the night. She takes a rest at the gate tonight, before returning to Bismarck tomorrow morning. At Gate 5 is this TWA Douglas DC-930. In TWA's original run to Sioux Falls, they served numerous communities, all of these services having originally been operated by their predecessor, Ozark Airlines. Today, this DC-9 is going to head out to Moline, Illinois, also known as the Quad Cities, which are located in eastern Iowa and western Illinois. Moline service was once daily, and this flight will be departing at 7:17 a.m. local time as Flight 612. Parked at Gate 8 is this US Air Express Beechcraft 1900. For more in-depth information on the US Air Express service, I highly recommend checking out the 1994 update that I made previously. In 1991, US Air Express had just Sioux City on the map, and the service operated on weekdays with select flights on Sundays as well. This arrived at 3:02 p.m. local time as Flight 3387. At Gate 8 is this United 737-200. Flip-flopping positions with the 737-300 we'll check out in just a second, United had a twice-daily service to the Windy City at this time on the 732. This flight arrived at 8:23 p.m. local time as Flight 401. This flight will continue on to Rapid City and depart in a little over 30 minutes from now. Next to that, at Gate 6 is this United 737-300. After having arrived from Denver at 9:24 p.m. local time, it will continue on to Fargo, North Dakota, departing in about 20 minutes. 2 flights were sent to Fargo daily, and 1 inbound flight as well, coming in during the mid-afternoon hours. On this flight, the aircraft will retain the same flight number it had from Denver, 298, on its way to Fargo. At Gate 4 is this Northwest Douglas DC-930. In the early 1990s, Northwest operated a mix of this type and the shorter DC-910. I'm eager to see if a new mold will be developed for that type, since it's underrepresented in 1:400 scale. Perhaps NG can do this? Either way, Minneapolis had multiple flights on Northwest, with 4 arrivals on Mainline and 2 on Airlink, plus 2 on AirVantage during the work week, bringing the total number of inbound flights on this service to 8 a day on weekdays. In the case of this aircraft, it will be an outbound to Minneapolis, departing at 4:30 p.m. local time as Flight 597. Lastly, at Gate 2 is this Northwest Airlink Fokker F-27. During the week, you could catch twice-a-day service, but on weekends it would drop to just 1 Airlink service, and none were on Saturdays. This flight came in at 7 p.m. sharp as Flight 3279. And that will do it for this Retro FSD update. For now, we're complete with the 1990s, as the 1992 update is on hold. We'll get moving into the 1980s once I acquire additional models necessary for the project, such as the Frontier and Western 737-200, though both continue to pose as big of a challenge as the American Fokker 100. In the meantime, additional research will be done on the 1980s, as there's lots of cool information to go over. From airline mergers to regional carriers to other fun elements, there will be no shortage of content from this decade. While I acquire additional models and knowledge for this decade, we will make a return to the 2000s to cover some of the missing years. Stay tuned for the latest Retro FSD updates on my Instagram page. I will post them on my story. With that being said, that is the end of the video. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.